Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, July 10th of 2025. It is approximately 2:11 p.m. and we are convening a session of the Philadelphia Tax Review Board. My name is Melissa Andre. I'm the executive director, and it is my responsibility to let everybody know to please be aware that this is a public hearing and it is being recorded. Because the meeting is public, participants and viewers have no expectation of privacy, and by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. This recording will be posted on the Tax Review Board's website. With me today is our board chair, Paula Weiss, as well as board members George Matthews, John O'Connor, and Nancy Carmodina. Paula, please take it away.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Tax Review Board hearings for July 10th, 2025 are now in session. As Ms. Andre had stated, we have some administrative matters to read into the record before we turn to those cases that are going to go forward today. So we are going to start with what is listed as 621 West Girard Avenue, which encompasses six items on our docket, and I'm just going to read each one into the record, but they are all for 621 West Girard Avenue, covering the property 621-23. I'm sorry, it's 621-23 Girard Investments for the property 621 West Girard Avenue and 623 West Girard Avenue. So it is listed on our docket as case number 2, last four digits of the docket Y650. Case number 4, what is listed, last four digits UQUB. Case number 6, last four digits of the docket P6I5. Case number 9, what is listed as FUCH. Case number 10, LFGU. And case number 11, 6SSV. All of those cases are continued for today and will be relisted at a later time. We are going to turn to DMP Private Lending, listed as cases 3 and 7, last four digits of the docket 1G03 and R1RK. This is actually listed for status today, and I do believe we have representatives for the petitioner as well as city representative. Mr. Pearl, is this your case?
It is.
Welcome. And Mr. Rulo, is this your case?
Yes, I did just want to note that one of the cases, the city actually withdrew the underlying bill in its entirety. That is the case that ends X61G03. So I believe the only case that technically remains before the board is the one that ends HUR1RK.
Okay,
Mr.
so then
Rulo,
you know.
I'm sorry, I did note that, but I wanted it to be on the record here, it makes it much easier. And
Right, and we're gonna, go ahead. So
I also wanted to make sure that the city has already removed the bill. So there is no bill and therefore the board can just put a no action needed.
Yeah, I don't have the confirmation email, but yes, I can. That is my understanding. If the board would like me to get a confirmation email, and provide that, I can do that. I've never done that before, but I'm happy to do so. I imagine Mr. Pearl would like that as well.
Mr. Pearl, do you have any objection to any of this?
No.
Comment? Okay, so then what I'm going to do, so that we can dispose of this and move on to the remaining matter, is I'm going to ask the board to agree or concur that this will be marked no action needed pending the receipt of the confirmation from the city that the bill has in fact been removed. So can I get concurrence from board members?
John O'Connor, I concur.
George?
George Matthews, second.
Nancy? We can't hear you. Okay. And Paula Weiss, I concur. So this matter will be marked no action needed. And we will enter into the record confirmation from the city that the bill has been withdrawn when we receive it from Mr. Rulo. And now we're going to move on to the remaining matter, which is listed as case number 7. And this is a demolition matter. We did get the materials, the briefing materials from both Mr. Rulo and Mr. Pearl, and we did discuss them. And it does seem that, I don't want to say you're on different planes, but they kind of like passed in the night. And the city has obviously raised a preliminary objection to the board's jurisdiction. Which I think, Mr. Pearl, your brief mostly or entirely focused on the evidentiary issues related to the bill. So the board does want to, before we move into any of those matters, have a ruling on the jurisdictional issue that the city has raised. So Mr. Pearl, since this is a status listing at this point, but we do want to ask you if you would like either to respond verbally today or in writing to the city's jurisdictional objections. We would give you like 2 weeks
I
to
don't need 2 weeks.
respond.
Here's my
Pardon?
frustration.
I'm sorry,
Can you hear me?
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Here's my frustration. So let me understand something. Okay, this was listed for a hearing. Then you guys wanted a briefing. Okay, now in response to briefing, the city has waived jurisdiction. Right? I think one,
Wait,
in response. to-
I'm
we were-
sorry, Mr. Pearl. Did you say that the city has waived jurisdiction?
I believe they did. So let me just talk to you about this. So this is what I don't understand, and then I'll also tell you why. We had a hearing before the board, whatever, 2 months ago. You asked for additional briefing on the substantive issue. In response, I gave you substantive briefing. City provided a late brief, which I understand, and then raised jurisdiction. I mean, so one, I think it's waived, but even if it wasn't, there's a bill in my client's name, and I provided that to Miss Andre. I'm assuming you guys have copies of that.
We have everything that you've provided.
Now, how is this not the proper forum to do that? There's a bill in my client's name. I mean, this seems to be an odyssey where I cannot get, good or bad, a decision from this panel.
No, you will get a decision from this panel, one way or another. We're trying to sort through all of the issues
Right.
as thoughtfully as we can.
But- But to sit there and say, there is no, okay. I was a lawyer for the city. To sit there and say absurdly, I mean, it's a joke, and it's really, it's disrespectful to my client. So let me just sort of say, in response to a late brief, not addressing any of the substantive issue, the city says, oh, no, there's no bill. Within 10 seconds later, I send a bill in my client's name. What more do we need to do?
Gonna let Mr. Rulo respond.
I would first, as a preliminary matter, note that in my email to the board regarding the lateness, I had noted that Mr. Pearl and I had discussions on that Friday. And specifically in those phone calls, I had asked Mr. Pearl if he would agree to, allowing the city to file that late so we could continue those discussions. And he expressly agreed. So to the extent that there's an agreement
I
that
don't mean to interrupt, that's a false statement. It's as false as his other brief. And I do not
All right,
appreciate,
we're gonna stop. Mr. Pearl, we're not gonna go there.
okay, but just so we're,
Name calling. No, we're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Mr. Rulo, finish your statement and then we'll allow Mr. Pearl to
I mean,
respond if he chooses.
Okay. I understand Mr. Pearl has submitted that document, which appears to be a collection notice. I have had, and Supervisor Rybakowski is here and can testify to this. This board has authority over bills that the city issued. And there is no bill that was issued to Mr. Pearl's client. My understanding is that there is a lien associated with that collection notice, which is what originated that item. And the city's position, and I think the board is familiar with this, is that, in these situations, even if the city, Mr. Pearl's client and the board agreed on the issues, on the issues, the board doesn't have the authority to abrogate or nullify a lien, which is the relief ultimately at this stage that Mr. Pearl would be seeking since there is no bill. And then on the other jurisdictional items, in Mr. Pearl's brief, he raised the issues of, that the city was what I would describe as, the proximate cause, i.e. negligent, contributorily negligent. And the board has a narrow jurisdiction. It's quote, for any unpaid money or claim. I would respectfully submit that I think the cart is being put before the horse here in a manner of speaking, because to get to the issue of liability on the bill, what is being requested is essentially a decision on whether or not the city was contributorily negligent, whether the city was a third-party beneficiary to an agreement, whether the city breached that agreement. If we walked in here today and there was a court order with findings of fact and conclusions of law that said we had breached a contract, we were contributorily negligent. I mean, I don't want to concede anything on behalf of my client, but I don't know how I could sit here and say there's liability on the bill at that point. But at least at that point, then there is an issue of specifically within the board's jurisdiction. But I think the threshold issue, and I understand frustration, there simply is no bill that the city issued with a work order invoice number, all of those. I don't want to be a witness, but Supervisor Rybakowski searched himself yesterday, conducted another search, and it was unable to locate one. So yeah, I respectfully, I just don't see how there is jurisdiction unless someone can produce a bill that was issued by the city, and there is none. The only one that was issued was to the prior owner, which is the exhibit I included, to Dreamfinders Real Estate.
All right, Mr. Pearl.
Yeah, I want to just correct something so we're clear. On June 16th, I sent a brief. Prior to that, I did not have any communications with Mr. Rulo. On June 17th, Ms. Andre sent him an email and said, "Are you submitting a brief?" He said, "Oh, I didn't see that. It wasn't in my calendar. I will request a brief extension." At that time, I had no communication with Mr. Rulo. I didn't create an issue, but just so we're clear, he did not timely submit a brief, and it had nothing to do with our conversation.
Or is that the only thing you want to tell us?
Second of all, how do you get past the collection company bill? I will tell you, so we're all clear, I just went on Atlas. There is no lien. I just did a docket search of DMP private lending. There is no lien. There's nothing there.
Hello, is there a lien?
So what am I mean, I can ask you to take judicial notice of that. If we look at Atlas, where does he say there is a lien?
I don't know if there is a lien. So if that's I assume that if there is a collection notice, there is a lien.
Oh,
But
Mr. Rulo.
my problem is if there is no bill and there is no
Mr.
lien,
Rulo, there is no lien that you can establish?
pardon, let me double check.
In your brief, Mr. Rulo, you did note that there was a lien. And in
And you
fact,
cite the
I went
municipal
back
claims?
looking- I went
Go
back
ahead.
looking to see if he had the lien number in here, and I think that's very important for the board to know if there is a lien.
It was, and I apologize if perhaps this was a misunderstanding on my part, but the only time I've ever seen a collection notice issued is when there is an underlying.
That's not, yeah, but this is,
Yeah,
you know,
understood. But I guess that gets us to another issue. If there is no bill and there is no lien, then it appears the challenge is to that collection notice. Because
Well,
I don't
no.
even have an explanation of what
They didn't,
that collection
you know,
notice could originate from.
it didn't come from outer space.
It didn't come from the city either. It was from an outside third party, I believe. Is that correct, Mr. Pearl?
No, it actually
Rulo.
said- so we're clear, I'm looking at it. It says, I can show it. Can I share it?
Of course.
If-
Please, yes, and we've seen it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, here. It's okay, so let's look at it. City of Philadelphia Pioneer Lot Box. City of Philadelphia Statement of Count. Send it to City of Philadelphia. I mean, this is a bill. Now, if he wants to say that there's no bill from the city, okay, then erase this bill.
And what I am saying is I have not been able to locate any bill issued by the city. I have a member of staff double checking right now on the lien, because my understanding is that these demolition liens are not always available on Atlas. I'm going to accept Mr. Pearl's representation that he did a docket search and couldn't find one. But I think this gets back to the original issue. I don't have a bill, so I can't explain this notice.
Well, what?
And
Can I
so even if this notice is completely incorrect, which I'm not going to concede that. But even if this notice is completely incorrect and there is no bill and there is no lien, there's still not a mechanism for this board to nullify that document. There's no bill. There's just no mechanism for that. This board can nullify a bill that was issued, but it can't nullify a bill that wasn't issued.
All right, we're going to step back for a minute. The board needs to have a brief conversation, so everybody
Can I ask a
stay
quick
where you
question?
are.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Who was that?
This is Jim Pearl.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
No, no, and I appreciate
ahead.
this. Like, the city of Philadelphia, so Mr. Rule has had this, and he keeps saying this is not a bill. Apparently, there's a reference number. Has anybody from the city contacted Pioneer Credit Union, which is their client or customer, and said, where did you get this and what's this reference number? I mean,
All right, Mr. Pearl, we get it. I mean, you can ask him that when we go off the record if you want, I guess, but we're going to step back. We do understand, we recognize what's going on here.
okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I'll
Okay,
stop.
everybody hold tight.
All right, we're going to step back.
David, you there? I can't hear you.
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah.
I understand what's going on.
Well, so here's the thing. And I don't mind saying this. We don't see a lien out there. Now, if there's a lien out there, we'll address that another, you appeal.
Mr. Pearl, I just wanted to, I know you're having a conversation with your client and I can hear it all, so I just didn't want you to
Well, then welcome to hearing.
privileges.
I have found this to be extremely frustrating with you. It's just not how I practice. Did you call Pioneer Credit Union and ask for the reference number?
Hi, Mr. Pearl. Mary Costello.
Hi, Mary.
There seems to be some confusion. Both of these bills are liened, and you can't find them on Atlas. You won't be able to find a single lien for any property in the city of Philadelphia on Atlas because that's not where that information's held. But you can find it on property.gov. And I would be happy to walk you through that. You received a bill from a collections agency because both of these bills are liens. And I would also be happy to send you the lien information. However, it's available to the public. So anyone could access it at any time. And I'd also be happy to walk you through that. as
So
well.
Mary, if I make a right to know request on the correspondence for the lien. That
You don't
sent-
need to, because you can see it all.
No, how do I get the information you sent to the collection company?
I'll show you. I'll show you the information that we sent to the collection company.
Yeah,
Sure, you can make a right to know request for that. Absolutely, but I can also show you how to access it online.
okay, so let me ask you another question. Well, I appreciate this, because that was
Sure.
maybe some misunderstanding that Mr. Rulo had. Where, when somebody does a property search, does the lien come up?
You can go to property.gov.
No, if a property searcher, so it's not in the city dockets, it's not in the records department.
It's with
Yeah,
the-
they can go, ready? They can go to property.gov and then they can click on real estate tax balance.
It's property.phila.gov.
Yeah, they can look at the real estate tax balance. They can see the open accounts for every property. And then under licenses and inspections, abatement work, real estate tax, it's everything that is owed for that associated property will be listed. I'd be happy to send you an email to show you how to do that, but any title search
yeah.
company already knows how to do all this stuff. So, for this one, the lien numbers are 1013315. For the work that was done July 27, 2024, and it's 210700320 for the lien number for the work that was done June 23rd, 2021.
And I can send those to you now.
And you can also call the collections company. All that information is.
And that's not my
also
job.
available.
That's your client.
Why is it
We-
the city's
well-
job to call back and provide information on that notice. I feel like that's something that, all right, Mr. Pearl.
Because you keep taking the erroneous position that it's not a bill. Can I see you on camera, please?
Yes, it is not a bill. It is a
Mr.
lien.
Rulo.
It is, I'm not gonna go back and forth with that. I think we've talked about that extensively. It is
Mr.
simply
Rulo,
not
Mr.
legally
Rulo.
a bill.
I got it. Here's the thing I wanted to talk to you about. And we're off without the board. Be cautious. You are a lawyer. You're representing things to a tribunal. Please be cautious.
Mr. Pearl, I have represented everything accurately.
Okay,
There is no bill.
we
You
disagree with
responded with the collection notice.
Mr.
A
Rulo.
collection notice is only issued when there is
Mr.
lien.
Rulo.
And we have just confirmed that there's lien. Mr. Pearl, I'm done. If you have a question about my dishonesty, you can email my supervisors.
No, Mr. Rulo, I'm trying to tell you about my client who's here watching you. Please be careful. That's why I sent you the email only to you. It's beyond your supervisor. You're an officer of the court. Please be careful. There's a fine line between advocacy and statements made.
Yes, Mr. Pearl.
That's why I sent it to you as a courtesy only to you.
Are you know what? Well, we'll handle this offline.
Okay, I'm looking at property.gov and I still do not see the lien.
Mr. Pearl, at this stage, if you have questions for me, please direct them to Ms. Costello.
Mr. Rulo, I can't. You're the attorney of record, sir.
Mr. Pearl, I think you might have mentioned that you work for the city of Philadelphia in the past, so you know that you can email any city attorney. And I'm Mike's supervisor, and I'll be happy to provide you with an email that outlines how your
so
client
then
can
I'll-
access this information
Ms.
safely
Costello.
online.
Let me tell you, I found his behavior to be terrible. Just let me finish.
No, I'm not, you know what?
Why?
Put it in email. I'd
Okay.
love to hear from you. Thank
That's
you.
fine.
Thanks.
I find it to be disrespectful, disingenuous. My client is here. My client is a taxpayer, a citizen as well. It's a disgrace. I will put it in an email. Please send me your email address. Ms. Costello, I just sent you an email copy with Melissa Andre for copies of the liens.
I believe we have everybody. Okay, the tax review board is back in session. We,
Wait a minute, Mr.
Yep.
Rose is raising his hand. Mr.
Mr.
Rivera?
Pearl?
Yes, I'm
You-
here.
Okay, you can hear us, and Mr. Rulo?
Yes, I did have just an update
Oh, there
from
you are. Okay.
during, we did conduct an additional search and there is a lien. And I believe Ms. Costello was just emailed. Mr. Pearl is about to receive copies of the lien numbers.
Tell me when the lien was filed.
I'm waiting for Ms. Costello, well, not for Ms. Costello, I don't want to pin that on her, but I don't have that. I do have the lien number, which is 210-70320, and the docket number with the Court of Common Pleas, I believe that's what this is 2311 L as in llama 21002196. As I indicated, Ms. Costello is pulling the lien as we speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just for further clarification, I'm emailing Mr. Pearl all the information so that he's able to look this up for his client, for any properties that his client owns. All of this information can be found on property.phila.gov. And when you go there, you click real estate tax balance and you can view the tax balance. And that's the information that Attorney Rulo is talking about. And he can see the original bill number, the date the work was done, the docket number, and then the associated lien numbers, and then the
Can you share your
descriptions of
screen, Ms.
those liens.
Costello?
I'm sorry?
Costello, can you share your screen? It'd be great
Sure,
if we could see it.
absolutely. Everyone can see this.
Yes.
And then I believe the collections agency, the collections notices that he received would be through RCB Collections. That's the collections agency we typically use, and he's free to call and contact them with any questions regarding the liens associated with the property. That number's here, but it should also be, sorry, I don't know why I did that. It should also be on the collections notices that he received.
And as indicated,
back.
there is a lien for that second petition that was put before the board. But as we discussed initially, that bill has been withdrawn. And as by operation of that being withdrawn, that bill for the sealing of the lateral, my understanding is once that bill is withdrawn, the lien will also be removed.
Will be, yeah, the lien will be called back. Yep.
All right, Mr. Pearl, anything you want to add?
No. So I'm looking at the bill. The bill predates by months the lien. How do you reconcile that?
Can
I'm
you-
sorry, the bill predates by months the lien?
Yeah,
Yes, because we don't lien bills automatically, right? The bill needs to be outstanding for multiple days before we would ever send it to collections agency, or it would become a lien.
So can
So
I,
you have 30, right? Depending on the bill, you have 30 or 60 days to pay that bill. And during that time period, that's when you would appeal that bill to this board, for instance.
right,
But
and
if
as
you
Mr.
don't
Rulo
pay,
noted,
if
we
you,
didn't get a bill.
I'm sorry,
As Mr. Rulo correctly noted, we didn't get a bill.
were you the property owner at the time that the work was
Yeah.
done?
Yeah.
As,
So,
as I
and that's
indicate,
why we appealed the statement of account, which was issued prior to the lien. You can't have it both ways. We never got a bill. You can't say to us through the tax review board, you have authority to appeal a bill, but never issue the bill.
and as I indicated, there is no bill that has been issued. And so as I put in my brief, this appears to be an issue or claims regarding the lien.
No,
And
I'm only appealing the bill.
there is no bill that was issued to your client. There is no bill. I have had.
Date of your
supervisor
bill,
private-
what's the date of the account statement, Mr. Pearl?
Yeah, so the
Uh,
account statement,
go ahead.
the account statement that I'm looking at is the collection notice is dated is October 4th of 2023.
Okay, and Mr. Rulo, what's the date the lien was placed?
I'm
I have,
still,
it's November 6th of 2023.
Thank you.
and the only bill that was able, the abatement, I guess, let me be specific, the abatement work invoice, which is how we get, the board is very familiar with those, which is exhibit city 1. That invoice was issued to Dreamfinders Real Estate on June 24th, 2021. There is no abatement work invoice that was ever issued to DNP Private Lending.
So it's your position, Mr. Rulo, that whatever this is called, an account statement or whatever it is that goes out by a collection agency acting as an agent of the city of Philadelphia, referencing the city of Philadelphia, referencing work by the city of Philadelphia is not a bill?
This, yes, it is in reference to this lien.
But
Sitting
there was no lien on the date that this was generated.
And
I understand there's maybe a lien now, but there was no lien. So what is it that Mr. Pearl's client received in their name about their property, about this demolition, with a dollar amount saying, pay this?
I had no part in the generation of that
I
document.
didn't say you did.
I know you didn't. I can only work with the information that I have. And sitting here to the board today, there is no bill that was ever issued to the client, which is why I think that ultimately, if I believe that what Mr. Pearl is saying is, well, if there is no bill, then how was my property issued that notice and had a lien dropped on it? And what I believe that is essentially where we are. And that's why I put in my brief that this appears to be an issue of whether or not that collection notice and the lien that came from it is defective.
Why would the collection notice be defective?
I don't know how these collection notices are generated, but sitting here today, if that notice of a collection notice was sent, and I want to be careful and preserve my client's rights and all that, because I don't know what happened with that collection notice. But the typical process, if my property has a lien, is that the bill is issued to me. If it is not paid or appealed to this, and when I say bill, let me be specific, an abatement work invoice is issued to me and it goes unpaid, then it gets sent to collections. And if it remains unpaid, as Ms. Costello mentioned, a lien is put on the property.
So once it's sent to collections, it's no longer a bill?
What I'm saying is that in this instance, there is no bill that was issued to his client. And so I don't know if there was a breakdown in the
That
process.
didn't answer my question. Once it goes to the collection agency And whatever they send out on behalf of the city as an agent for the city under contract from the city with references to the city is not a bill?
If there's no underlying abatement work invoice, there is issued to the party, there is no bill.
Then how do you send it to a collection agency? There's no
Sitting
lien,
here today,
there's
I
no
can-
bill. How do you send it to the collection agency to go to some unrelated party? There's
Sitting
no
here-
bill.
Sitting here today, I do not have an explanation for that. All I
Well,
have is
does that
there-
not sound defective then to you?
Well, let me say this, even if that entire process is defective, even if we all agree that every element of what happened there is defective, what I was trying to explain in that brief is that the relief that is now sought is because there was that defect, this collection notice should be rescinded and the lien lifted. And what I'm trying to explain is that the board, even if we all agree on that the notice should be withdrawn and that the lien should be lifted, there is no mechanism for the board to issue a decision that rescinds that notice or lifts the lien.
And so is it your position that in the time span between when that notice is generated and received by Mr. Pearl's client and the time and the city actually files a lien, that the petitioner or the recipient of that notice has no rights of appeal or no recourse? That they just have to sit and wait and see what the city does?
When it comes to a collection notice, they receive that. They have an opportunity to speak with the collection company. If they believe that the
But
collection.
okay, but they only want to collect the money. What is their actual appeal right?
Can I ask
If
it
they
in another way,
disagree.
Paula? Can I ask it in
Yes.
another way? Because I
They can
wanna
appeal it to
understand
support a
this.
common pleas.
1 second, I just want to know, so if the petitioner, DNP Lending in particular, received a collection notice from an agent that the city has contracted with, they received it on October 4th of 2023. The lien was filed in November 6th of 2023. So if this petitioner had come to the board in that time frame with what would look like a bill in an attempt to dispute that bill before the lien was filed, you're telling me that the board would not be able to make any determination on that bill because the city, and when I mean the city, I mean L&I, did not specifically put DNP Lending on the abatement work invoice.
Our position is that there is no mechanism for this board to rescind a collection notice or a lien. And so if they went to challenge a collection notice or they want to challenge the subsequent lien that's entered, that has to go through a process in the Court of Common Pleas. And if there was a bill and they saw the bill they get the collection notice, they discover there was a bill issued to their client, then at that time, we see this fairly regularly where someone will come back and then seek non-pro-tunc relief to then challenge the bill at that time. But what our position is that the board can determine liability on the bill, which again, that is an abatement work invoice. It cannot rescind a collection notice. It cannot lift a lien. Even if all of us today here agreed with that process, there is no legal mechanism for the board to render a decision ordering the rescission of a collection notice or ordering the lifting of a lien.
So the city's error in billing the prior owner is enough to then create a situation where the new owner, or even the owner at the time of the demolition, can't appeal it here at the board.
Not here. No, that's our position. Yes. And that's what I'm saying is like, even if I am sitting here today,
Due to the city's error,
even if we are all on the same page, what I'm saying here is that there are processes you have to follow. And this is not the process. Like even if today I said to the board right now, I consent, I agree there is a defect. I agree that the collection notice should be rescinded. I agree that the lien should be rescinded. I can't there's no and I said, board, please render that decision, put it in a letter and say that that notice is invalid and that that lien is invalid. That doesn't have the force of law to actually accomplish that because of the narrower jurisdiction of the board. And so it's that is what I'm trying to express here.
Oh, no, it's being expressed.
Okay. Mr. Pearl, any final
Yeah, I
comments?
think- yeah, and I don't want to belabor the point, but I think you brought up a really good point, Mr. Chairperson. So they issue a collection notice. I have a right, so you know how he just said, and I think something got, and I think you sort of hit it on the head, and I'm being really serious. My client has a due process right. And I don't have to wait till the lien gets attacked. I can attack the underlying judgment. And one of the frustrations that I hear Mr. Rulo saying is lien, lien, lien. But a lien derives from the judgment and from collection. So if the board says no amount is due, then I'll deal with the lien and strike off the lien if that's the concern at a later date. But I think you brought up I didn't even think of it the way you did. Under the city's position, you have to wait until the lien hits before you attack. And that's not true, because exactly as you said, they could wait 6 months, they could wait 8 months. So that's my due process right. And I think he turned it on its head, arguing the city's rights. He's got to protect my rights. And so my position is, I'm not talking rescinding a collection letter. I'm asking you guys to make a determination that no amount is owed. And if he's saying there's no bill, then what's his harm? You could take the position to say, to the extent that DMP owes $21,000, we find they don't.
The city has acknowledged that we have no record of a bill. That is our point. There is no bill for the client. I think that's actually, wait,
But
Mr.
Okay.
Pearl and I are almost
Okay.
agreeing to a
Okay.
certain extent there.
the
Um,
lien derives from the bill. You have to have a bill first to get the lien. And what he said is, if the person doesn't pay the bill timely, then we lien. So there has to be a bill. So the fact that they don't have a record of it, that may not substantiate their lien, but there's still a bill somewhere.
I mean, that collection notice came from something.
Yeah.
It just did. All right, I think what the board is going to do at this point is take it under advisement. We want to have an opportunity to really hash this out with all the information you've both provided with us. And we will get back to you when we believe we have a decision to provide. Is that all right? A concurrence from the board?
John O'Connor, I concur.
George?
Matthews, I concur.
Nancy gives a thumbs up, and Paula Weiss, I concur. Thank you, Mr. Pearl.
No, I
And
appreciate it.
below,
And
this
I
is,
agree with your position. I do. You should take time and look at it.
yeah,
I'm-
we're gonna review everything that has been sent to us, everything that's been said. We'll have the transcripts to review, and we will hopefully issue a decision as as quickly as we can.
It's fine. I
right.
really just appreciate everything you're doing. So thank you.
All right, thank you both, and we're gonna conclude this for today and move on. So thank you, Mr. Pearl, and Mr. Lang, thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you.
And
Bye-bye.
Chairperson, that completes my business. May I please be excused?
Thank you, Mr. Rulo. All right, and who is here for Shake, Rattle, and Roll
Nikki
Daycare then?
Reed, I'm just gonna go put her in the room, Paul. Give me a second.
Okay. And who is here for the city? Ms. Costello, is this you? Or Mr. Logue?
Good afternoon, board members. Sean Loeb for the city.
All right. So we are going to move on to what is listed on our docket as Shake, Rattle, and Roll Daycare. The petitioner is coming into the hearing room. These are cases listed as number 1 NS9S, number 5 68Z9, number 8 TSQG on our docket.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Paula Weiss, Chair of the Board. Could you please state your full name for the record?
Yes. Layla V. Reed.
And Ms. Reed, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And what is your relationship to Shake, Rattle, and Roll Daycare?
The owner.
Okay. Mr. Logue, who is your witness for today so that we can get the numbers on the record?
Sure, yeah, my witness is Najib Edens.
Okay.
And
Good
I
afternoon.
will be reading the numbers into the record for you, the members of the board.
Ms. Fonseca, could you state your full name and position with the city, please?
Sure, Eileen Fonseca with the Department of Licenses and Inspections, Administrative Code Supervisor.
And Ms. Fonseca, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes,
Thank you. Could you provide us with the dates and dollar amounts in question?
sure. So for number one on the docket list ending in N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, 9 S as in Sam, in regards to 1214 North Broad Street, license number is 684626. Bill date is May 10th of 2024. Bill number is 2024-141685. I'm sorry, this is for a food license. So the renewal fee for the food license is $415.00. The past due amount for the renewal fee is $2,075.00. The interest in which accrued is $408.78. And the penalty in which accrued as well is $817.55. That totals out that license fee to be $3,716.33. Again, that's for location at 1214 North Broad Street,
Ms.
excuse me.
Fonseca, I have a question. The
Sure.
years that it encompasses, you just said May of 2024. Does it encompass a set of years?
It does. So this license
Yes.
was, I'm sure that we'll get to that. I would have to actually go into the license itself as to when it actually expired, but this bill was sent out to the license holder or generated in our system in 2024.
Okay, but
And
you
it
don't
was
know what year.
It was
that-
possibly because it was preparing for the tax review board matters. So it does generate every single year that is expired, if I'm not mistaken, Najib, am I right? Or
No, I never got it.
Well, just hold tight. We're just sorting out.
Okay, I just was.
we're just going through the numbers just so that I can provide you the
We're gonna get
outstanding
to you in a
amounts and
second,
stuff.
Okay,
So that's at least for that one, but let me know if you need anything else specifically,
think
or do you want me to
it's
go down the
possible.
line?
Yeah,
Okay.
because when we make our decision, we make it based on the years, like the
Yeah.
period in question. So if Mr. Edens can testify to the years at some point, that would be great.
Yep.
Right, so I
he
guess
will.
my question is, you originally said $415 is the annual renewal. Is that for 2025 and the others are the $2,075 is past years?
Yes,
Not included with that 415.
correct.
Okay. All right, so let's drop down to what is listed as case number 5, G829.
Okay, so this is for the location at, I'm sorry, 3626 through 28 North Broad Street. And this is for food license number 795540. Again, the bill date that we have is May 10th, 2024. Bill number is 2024-141672. Again, the renewal amount for the food license is $415. The past due renewal amount for this license is $1,660.00. The interest in which accrued is $329.93. And the penalty fee is $659.85. That totals that license bill to be $3,064.78.
Okay, and then
And then for number 8, right?
Yeah.
SQG. This is for the location at 1415 West Erie Avenue. This is for, again, a food license number 648285. Bill date May 10th, 2024. Bill number is 2024-141690. Not too sure, but this renewal amount, I'm pretty sure that, again, Najib is gonna go into specifics, but the amount that I have is $275 even. For this renewal, I have to find out what type of license this is, if it's a food license or not. But this is $275 for this specific renewal license, and the past renewal fee is $2,600 even. The interest in which accrued is $832.13. And the penalty fee in which accrued is $1,664.25. That brings the outstanding amount to $5,371.38.
Okay. All right. Mr. Logue, any opening comments before we ask Ms. Reed to explain to us why she's here, what she's looking for?
Yes, briefly. Thank you, Chairperson Weiss. So before the board today are 3 petitions filed by Layla Reed, doing business as Shake, Rattle, and Roll Daycare, challenging bills for food prep and serving license fees at 3 locations that she operates. 2 which are considered large establishments by the code because they have 30 or more seats for consumption of food, and 1 small establishment with fewer than 30 seats. The 2 large establishment licenses, and those businesses operate on North Broad Street, expired in 2019, and the annual license fees have not been paid since then. The small establishment is on Erie Ave. That license expired in 2015, and the license fees likewise have not been paid since that expiration date.
So that was, which one was that?
That was the small
Erie Avenue.
establishment. Yeah, Erie Ave.
Okay.
In her petition, which only addresses 1 bill for 1 business location, Ms. Reed argues that she attempted to pay license fees in 2020, but she was told that she couldn't go to the municipal services building to pay because it was closed due to the COVID pandemic. She said she was told she would be notified when payment was due, but that she didn't realize any fees were owed until the health department came by to visit the properties in April 2024, shortly before she filed her petitions. She doesn't claim in her petition to have not been operating with expired licenses, and she essentially admits that she didn't attempt to renew any of the licenses since 2020. The specific licenses Ms. Reed needs are required for businesses that serve food, regardless of whether the food is prepared on premises. And as the name of the business implies, Ms. Reed operates a daycare with multiple locations. That her clientele are children makes it especially important that she be licensed so that the health department can ensure that she is serving food in a manner that is safe and compliant with the code. The city will show that annual fees for licenses are automatically imposed unless the license is affirmatively closed by the licensee, that Ms. Reed did not close any of these licenses, and that she was billed the appropriate amounts for these licenses, with 1 exception that I will get into in closing. And the city has 1 witness for all 3 petitions, which is Najib Edens. And I guess I don't know how your process works, whether you want Ms. Reed to give opening remarks first.
Oh, yes, we're going to turn to
Okay.
Ms. Reed. The burden of proof is on her, and we're going to let her present her case and then turn back to you.
Excellent.
But it's all very helpful. And I did have 1 question just that I want to be sure that I'm sure of. So at some point for each of these, there was an active license that expired. This is not a non-licensing situation, like never licensed circumstance.
That's correct.
So you gave us 2019, the Broad Street active licenses expired and were not renewed. And in 2015, the Erie Avenue active license expired and was not renewed.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Reed, could you please explain to the board why you're here today and what you're looking for from us, please? How all of this came about?
Yes, ma'am. Like I stated, Shake, Rattle, Roll, I provide in the community. I just heard him say that, we have to keep a license that regardless. Yes, just like the mix up, the emails, I don't know if this is the lawyer sending emails, the city mixed up my paperwork as well. The lawyer sent me 3 emails trying to correct because it gets mixed up
All
1,
right,
2,
before,
and 3.
well, I'm not
So-
sure which lawyer or when,
Right.
but you had
They
licenses.
sent me
that-
emails. He sent me emails
Well, we can't see
correcting the first, second. I'm confused at the emails I was even getting to be here today. He kept CCing me on emails because the mix-up is what they did downtown. So I'm paying for the daycares, but it probably wasn't the correct daycare that was in the portal. I can't even speak, Madam Chair, of why it was a mix-up. But it's not like I did not want to stay in compliance. When
All
they
right, well, let's start from the beginning then, because
Okay.
we need to understand the
Okay.
chronology.
Yes.
So what Mr. Logue has stated in his opening comments is that so do you operate daycare?
Yes,
centers
ma'am.
at all 3 of these locations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start with Erie Avenue, where you had an active food prep.
1415,
Which
because that's the mix-up. That's why I get all this different.
1415 West
Okay.
Erie Avenue.
Yes,
There was a food preparation license that expired in 2015.
yes.
After 2015, did you ever attempt to renew that license?
Well, the 2015 to 2017 and 18, I wasn't operating. I was operating a daycare out around the corner. I didn't have any children in the center. So when I went to pay for it, they said, ma'am, you have to get another inspection or something like that when the health department come out. They did that and cleared me. Then they closed us in February of 2020. So the license that I was paying for was 3626 North Broad Street. It wasn't 1415. The mix-up wasn't me. The mix-up is down city, L&I.
So is that Erie Avenue?
Well, we call
location
Broughton
still
Erie,
closed?
Erie.
I'm
We
sorry,
call Broughton Erie, but it's not Erie Avenue. It's really on Broad Street,
does it have a Broad Street address?
3626 North Broad Street. So when I go down there and I said Erie, anytime, even just when I went down there in January, the wrong number and the gentleman on here, I don't know if this is the gentleman I spoke to down here, he wrote what I had to pay and then he rescinded it.
I don't know
Said
who
no.
that was, so that's.
I don't know if Eden Najib that I was down
It was
L&I.
me. Yes.
It was you. So I've spoken to him several times and I don't know, he's a witness for him, but he knows I've been down there trying to pay. I'm not trying to operate illegally, ma'am, at all.
I understand. All right. Mr. Logue, why don't you give us your case and then we'll see if we can sort this out. Maybe Mr. Edens can help us.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chairperson Weiss.
Let me swear him in first. So, Mr. Edens, could you state your full name and position with the city?
Najib Edens, Code Administrator Supervisor, License Issuance Unit, License and Inspections.
Mr. Edens, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Logue, help us out.
Thank you. Mr. Edens, where are you currently employed?
The City of Philadelphia License and Inspections, License Issuance Unit.
And what is your title?
Code Administrator Supervisor.
What are your responsibilities in that role?
I supervise the license issuance unit, the counter, Zoom, and the back office.
And are you familiar with license numbers 684, 626, 795, 540, and 648, 285, which were issued to the petitioner for her daycare business?
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to review L&I's records for these licenses prior to today?
Yes.
And are those records kept in the regular course of the department's business?
For the most part, yes. Yes.
And with the board's permission, I'm going to share my screen to show some exhibits.
Yes, please.
Can you see that okay?
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Turning first to Exhibit A1, and actually just briefly before I get into it, I have broken the exhibits down by petition and docket number. What I'm going to do with Mr. Edens is go through the exhibits related to the license at 1214 North Broad Street first, then the other Broad Street location, and then look at the relevant code sections for those two licenses because they're the same type. They're both large establishments. And then finally, I'll go to the third license for Erie Ave and the
All
relevant
right.
sections for that.
So let me just say, the board is familiar with the code and we do all have, including Ms. Reed, we all have copies of it. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time. We really want to hear what the facts of the matter are and then
Sure.
read the code.
Understood. Okay, turning first to what's been marked Exhibit A1. Mr. Edens, what is this document?
Mr. Edens,
And can you-
You're muted, Mr. Edens.
I apologize. This is a OPA summary issue for the property at 1214 North Broad Street. It shows the license issued to the property, the license type, the license number, the status of the license, the date it was issued, and the last expiration date of the license.
Okay, and when was the license issued according to this document?
According to this document, it was issued on November 27th, 2015.
Can I ask a question before you move on, Mr. Logue? So
Sure.
it says inactive. Does that mean just administratively it expired or that the city has some information that the business is inactive?
It was the license, that means the license was last renewed a year prior.
But not that
20
the city, wait, I'm sorry, was last renewed when?
A year before, June 29th, 2018.
Okay, and that in June 29th, as of June 29th, 2019, it wasn't renewed.
Correct.
But
It
not that the
expired.
city has any other information regarding the activity or inactivity of the business. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, turning next to Exhibit A2. What is this document, Mr. Edens?
This is a license, the food license, the food prep and serve license for Shake, Rattle, and Roll for 1214 North Broad Street.
And when did this license expire?
April 30th, 2019.
Okay, and based on the expiration date, when would the next annual license fee have been due?
April 30th, 2020.
Okay. And has this license been affirmatively closed or renewed since it expired in 2019?
No.
Okay. Turning now to Exhibit A3. What is this document?
Mr. Edens, you were muted because of the background noise. Can you unmute yourself?
I apologize. This is the invoice for Shake, Rattle, and Roll for the property located at 538. No, that's not correct.
But it's license number 684626. Is that right?
That is correct. For
Okay.
1214 North Broad Street. I apologize.
Okay, and is this the most current bill for this license as of July 1st?
Madam Chair, can you see the address on there, please? Can you
Yes.
note the address? That's where they sent it to, not even open.
Was that ever a correct address?
That was prior to.
And did you notify the city that that was no longer a correct address?
Yes, because we closed it through the state and the city. But I don't even know that address. It's not a mailing address. I never got any of these invoices. None of this stuff he's showing. I never got none of it. In the city and state, the home office is 3626 North Broad Street. That's where I pay my taxes still. You can check all that. I pay all my bills.
Did you update that address, Ms. Reed, in Eclipse?
I went downtown and took a number and updated that address.
Okay. I'm going to resume questioning Ms. Reed,
ahead.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Reed, can you just describe what the individual components of this bill are? The current fee, delinquent fee, and penalty, what all that means?
Okay, this invoice was created on July 1st, 2025. It shows the license code, the license number, the business tax account, the last expiration date, the current license fee, the delinquent fee, which is the past due license renewal fees, the penalty,
Ms.
which
Reed,
is.
I'm sorry, would you mind pulling the paper down a little bit? We can't see your
Oh,
face.
I apologize. I'm
That's
reading.
okay.
I'm reading from the invoice. I'm gonna start over. Is an invoice from July 1st, 2025. That was created on July 1st, 2025. It shows the license code, the license number, the business tax account number, the last expiration date of the license, the current license fee, the delinquent fee, which is the past due license renewal fees, the penalty, which includes interest and penalties in the total. And it also includes the penalty for non-payment, which is defined at the bottom.
Okay, and just to clarify, I think you said it, the delinquent fee, that refers to just the annual fees that were not paid, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And what could the petitioner have done to avoid paying delinquent fees and penalties and interest?
Renew the license.
Understood. I'm going to turn next to Exhibit B1, which relates to the next license, number 795540.
And which property is that?
This is 3626 to 28 North Broad Street.
Thank you.
And Mr. Eanes, can you identify this document?
That is the license for Sheikh Maryland Road for 3626 North Broad.
Okay. And when did this license expire?
November 26, 2019.
Okay. And has this license been affirmatively closed or renewed since it expired in 2019?
No.
Okay. Turning next to Exhibit B2. Is this the most current bill for 3626 North Broad Street?
Yes.
Hello, can you zoom in a little?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Ma'am, Madam Chair, I never received that.
All right, Ms. Reed,
My
that's,
first time
we
seeing-
understand. Go ahead, Mr. Loeb.
I'm going to try to go quickly through the code sections and not spend
Yeah.
too much time on it.
Thank you.
Mr. Eanes, is this the section of the code that deals with license fees for food establishments?
Yes. One of them. Yes.
Okay. And what does the highlighted section say the fee is for large establishments?
The fee is $415.
And is that the annual fee the department charge for each license year for these two licenses?
For which two licenses?
Sorry, the two that we just went over, the Broad Street locations.
Yes.
Okay. Turning now to City Exhibit C2. Is this the section of the code that deals with fees and penalties for past due licenses?
Yes.
And do the interest and penalties on the current bills for those two Broad Street licenses reflect the 1.5% surcharge authorized by the code?
Yes,
Okay, and does this penalty apply to both large and small establishment food licenses?
yes.
All right. I'm gonna skip the regulation because I don't think that's relevant. Turning now to Exhibit C1, which is relating to license number 64285. This is the last address, 1450 West Erie Ave. Mr. Eads, what is this document?
That is the OPA summary for 1415 West Erie Avenue, which states the license to the address, the license number, the license type, the status, the issue date, and the last expiration date,
When does it say the license was first issued?
November 24th, 2014.
Turning now to Exhibit C2. Is this the most current bill for this license?
Yes,
And what is the expiration date listed on this bill?
April 30th, 2015.
Does the department have any record of this license being renewed or affirmatively closed since 2015?
No,
And briefly again, turning back to City Exhibit 1, is this the section of the code that deals with license fees for food establishments?
yes,
And what does the highlighted section say the fee is for small establishments?
$275.
Finally, turning to City Exhibit 4, is this a regulation that was adopted by the department in 2024?
Yes,
And I'm going to turn to the next page. Under this regulation, what is the current fee for small establishments highlighted on this page?
$299.
I have no further questions for Mr. Yates.
Okay, all right, Ms. Reed, did you want to ask Mr. Edens any questions?
Mr. Edens, that's why I had to look closer. I've been down City Hall several times and I saw Mr. Eaton and he was trying to get the amounts owed at the time. Then he informed me the last visit that he was unable to take the checks because it was a dispute. Because I got
You had filed this petition.
Yes, ma'am. And at the desk where his ladies work at, I have their names, I wrote their names down, all of them, because they said that they were unable because of this appeal. But prior to this, ma'am, they saw where the mix up was at. When
So you know what, so Ms. Reed, you need to explain it to us because we don't.
Okay.
Okay,
So
we
I
need to
went
know
down.
why if you have continued to operate these establishments
Yes.
in 2019, these licenses expired and you did not make an attempt, it sounds like, from what we've heard, until April of 2024.
No, ma'am.
Well, then you,
it
so
was
what
time-
happened? What happened? And 20, we understand, was COVID. What happened after? Wait, I only hear, I don't, who am I hearing? All right, Ms. Reed.
2020, when we closed, when they finally opened up, not 2 or 3 days a week, I went back down there in 2021. You had to make an appointment. I
Yes.
thought you could pay on Eclipse. That didn't happen. When I went back down there again, they said that, oh, you have to get inspected. And I said, inspected through who? I've been inspected. They was like, oh, so since we all were closed that long, you need an inspection. So that meant that to fill out the paperwork again for the health department to come in. The health department advised me they don't have to come back out because if I didn't have any violations enough for them to come out and re-inspect the building. So finally, when I went back down to City Hall, to L&I in the basement, they said, well, you need the inspection done in order for us to give the paper. That's when I went and to the food program had moved out there in South Philly. They came back in and made eligible reports for me to get the same relicense that I had already. But ma'am, I want to add, when the license expired in 2019, November, so if I pay it in February, we was closed. L&I was closed. So one expired April 2020 when they was closed. So I made attempts to pay. It just, every time I went down there, it was an issue. And then on some of the payments I paid for the license, that's the wrong address. They was paying the same account. So 1415 never got acknowledged. I'm not going to pay one license and not pay all the license, and I'm down there. I'm not going to pay for one and all of them are due.
How many locations do you operate?
3, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Logue, do you have any questions for Ms. Reed?
Yes, briefly, one of which you just asked. But to clarify, Ms. Reed, the 3 locations, are they Broad Street and the Erie Ave address?
Yes.
Okay. And you serve food at the daycare locations, is that correct?
Correct.
When were you issued your first food prep license for the business?
I don't remember. 2007, 2009.
Okay.
Right around then. I don't
And you
know the first one. I don't remember the first date I got licensed for the health.
I got you. But you understood at that time that there are annual fees associated with the license, correct?
No, because after 2019, it started going different. The clip system, you go on there and you go down there. So I used to go down there to the machine and do it with a helper from L&I. They would come out
Right,
and
but-
sit you on the machine. Usually,
But whether you're doing it through Eclipse or at MSP, you understand that there are fees for the annual licenses, correct?
I never had a problem with the fees. I don't mind paying the fees.
Right, but so you haven't paid fees since 2019 for the 2 licenses, is that right?
That's what I just read, but I never got any of that mail. I've never seen that mail day in my life. I never saw those forms you had. I don't know who had them, went to wrong addresses, but I've never seen them. Because if I get
Yes, his point is but you did know that you needed to renew these licenses at some point.
and I went down there to renew them.
Okay.
So,
Good.
Ms. Reed, you mentioned that you went to MSP in 2020, or you were planning to go to MSP but couldn't
Good.
because it was closed in 2020.
Yes,
Did you visit MSP in 2021? when
I
they
did.
reopened?
Yeah, and they said you need an appointment. I
And did
needed-
you schedule an appointment?
No, the gentleman, no, it was a lady. That's when they said I needed to get a form. They said I could not pay for the license. I needed another form. I didn't understand that. She said, you have to get a new inspection. They didn't let me pay when I came down there.
Okay, and so did you get that inspection?
I called the health department. They said I didn't need an inspection. They didn't send nobody out. How I got these inspections was going down there and saw Mr. Najib, and I kept calling the health department. Y'all gotta come out. They won't give me a license.
And did you attempt to pay the license fees in 2022?
No, because they needed this. They needed
I
me to
guess
have another
what
inspection.
I'm getting at, Ms. Reed, is that the
No.
initial roadblock was in 2020 during COVID, and it's now 2025, and it sounds like you have not made attempts to pay the licenses since 2019.
This
Is
is
that correct?
I got this inspection April 2024. I've been trying to get it done. This says April 2024. I didn't wait to 25.
So you filed a petition in 2024, got an inspection at that time, but still have not paid any license fees. Is that correct?
I cannot pay. They won't allow me to pay.
Right, you can now, well,
I
because
can't pay.
You can't
This
pay because
proceeding
of
is
this
happening.
appeal is
Yeah.
pending. Yeah.
Right. And then if I couldn't pay, then here's what the health department came out and says that nobody sent them any information that this was even under judicial review, but a cease and desist. He said no one sent him mail to say they thought I ignored the inspection and didn't go get the license. And they sent the cease and desist to the daycare center. 2 people came out, said that it was gonna cease operations because there was nothing in the system to tell us that we having this meeting right here.
Ms. Reed, have you
Hey.
been operating at the two Broad Street locations since
Yes.
2019?
Absolutely, for low-income kids that need us.
And
Yes.
have you been operating at the Erie Ave address since 2015?
No.
When did you start?
2015, I had no enrollment. So all the kids was at 3626 North Broad Street. I didn't have any enrollment in 2015 at 1415.
And what about today?
Today, yes. Today, well, some of now, no. But as of
September.
July 1st, no. But now, yes, ma'am. Yes,
So it's open and it will be operating.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Logue?
I have no further questions for Ms. Reed.
Okay. Any closing comments, Mr. Logue?
Yes, briefly. So just to review, I think the bills reflect the current year annual fee, past year fees since the licenses were never affirmatively closed and the petitioner's business continued to operate, as well as penalty and interest of 1.5% monthly for as long as the bills remained more than 60 days past due. These fees are authorized by the code, and they are reasonable in light of the number of years that Ms. Reed has been delinquent in renewing her licenses. The department level or master level hearing decisions in these matters waived the annual fees for all but 2 years for one of the petitions, all but 3 years for another, and all but approximately 2 for the third, even though at this point, Ms. Reed's license has been expired at that location for more than a decade. I want to reiterate that Ms. Reed is operating a daycare with multiple locations, and it is important that she be licensed to serve food so that the health department can ensure that she is doing so in a manner that is safe for the children. My concern with the agency level decision is that waiving the annual fees signals to Ms. Reed that it is okay to not have a license in some years, and it effectively penalizes other businesses that do diligently renew their licenses each year. With respect to the third bill for the small establishment license that expired in 2015, as I was preparing for this hearing, looking at the different versions of the code that have applied over the years, I believe the current bill overstates the delinquent fees that are owed by about $225. And with interest and penalties compounding, the effect of that miscalculation does affect the bill quite significantly. And so in light of that, and I can show my spreadsheet if it's helpful showing the calculations, but in light of that apparent miscalculation, the city is revising its request for the petition ending in 7S or S7TSQG from $6,201.33 on the current bill to $4,533.75.
I don't
And that-
have that dollar amount anywhere. You're talking about Erie Avenue?
You know what, Chairperson, actually, I would need to redo the math because what I'm looking at
Can
the
you tell me
current
the
bill.
years? What years is the city willing to forego? Does that help?
So I think annual fees at a minimum are due for all of the years
Okay,
at Erie Ave because Ms. Reed did not cancel or did not affirmatively close the license. It sounds like, her position is that she has not been necessarily operating at that location since or continuously since 2015. I don't believe she's produced any evidence to support that claim.
I did, Madam Chair.
all
I
right.
did,
Thank you, Ms. Reed.
You're
So
welcome.
I guess what I
because-
want to know is what it is that you're telling me the city is willing to forego, and we're talking about Erie Avenue, right? I just want to.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
think sorry, give me 1 second. I got to pull up my exhibit packet again.
Madam Chair, can I speak to when he's done?
Well, but let him finish, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Shoot. This is Erie Ave. Okay, so the bill for Erie Ave currently reflects past due fees of $2,600. And that's just the annual fees. I'm not talking about
Yes.
penalties and interest. And
Mhm.
by my calculations, it should be $2,375.
Okay. And do you know what that reduces the interest and penalty by? Or just as,
Let's see. The bill that you have reflects a total balance of $5,285.13. And so with my recalculation, that reduces the bill by about $1,000, so to $4,258.75.
okay.
Tax years 2015 to 2024.
I
So I guess that would have been through 2023 because Ms. Reed filed her petition around the time that the 2024 fee would have been due. And so there's no delinquency or interest and penalty there.
Penalty. Okay,
So
got it.
if possible, I also want to go back to the 1214 North Broad Street. The years that this is covering is 2019 to 2023,
The
That's
delinquency.
correct.
the delinquency to 20.
And then there's a current
plus
that
the
Ms.
current,
Fonseca read out.
yeah, which have no interest and penalties. So she would have to also pay 2024 and then eventually 2025.
Correct. That's my
Okay.
understanding.
And then for 3626 North Broad Street, we're doing 2019 to 2023 again.
That is correct. That's my understanding.
Anything else, Ms. Andre?
No, I just want to know how to write these decisions.
I got it. All right, Ms. Reed, any final comment?
I do. I think he's trying to be presented that I didn't want to pay. Madam Chair, that was not the case. Downtown is not all together. That the mail.
We recognize that you're testifying to having made multiple efforts.
Yes, okay, because I brought
Yeah.
all my proof to show that. I'm not sitting there just trying not to be illegal. I'm not doing that. I try to uphold what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I want to state the claim because how he's presenting it, that I'm not trying to do that, and that's not the case.
Thank you. We understand what you're saying. And I have one more question for Mr. Edens, if you can turn on your camera and your microphone. Mr. Edens, does the city's data system in the comments have comments regarding Ms. Reed's visits or phone calls or attempts to get information?
No, ma'am. I only see the applications, no comments or file notes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think the board is going to step back for a few minutes and have a conversation, so everybody just stay where you are.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're all, yeah, Tax Review Board is back in session. Thank you all for your patience. We did take a few minutes to review the evidence and information provided by both the city and the petitioner, Ms. Reed, and it is our decision to direct the Department of L&I to abate all of the penalty and 25% of the interest, provided that Ms. Reed will have 60 days from the date of our decision letter to make payment, which will include the current fees that are due on these operating daycare centers. So all the penalty, 25% of the interest will be waived, Ms. Reed. And our decision is for the Erie Avenue, I don't know which, the Erie Avenue petition, which ends in, hold on, license number, what is it, 141690, last four digits of the docket, TSQG, is based on the reduced figure that Mr. Logue did read into the record at the end, that his concession that there should have been a reduction in the principal amount and a corresponding reduction in whatever the interest and penalty calculations would be based on that reduced amount. So can I get concurrence from the board?
John O'Connor, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Nancy Kammerdiner, shake your head, concurs. Paula Weiss, I concur. So Ms. Reed, you will get a letter from the board within about 2 weeks with that decision. You'll have 60 days from the date of that letter to make whatever payments are required for you to bring your licenses into compliance.
Yes.
Okay.
And just a question. Okay, Miss Andrea said she'll break it down because I had before with the pay. So pay more now?
No, less. I mean, we're waiving, well, we don't know what the final number is, but we are waiving all of the penalty and a quarter of the interest, sorry, 25% of the interest. So Mr. Logue, do you know, will L&I have a revised bill in some ways, or how does she get the final dollar amounts that are still due? I know they generally don't bill for licenses that have expired.
That's how I met Mr. Najib down there. This is his
All right,
figures.
What's gonna happen is they're going to readjust the bill based on the board's decision. Our
Okay,
decision letter gives you a phone number and a website. You have to go make an appointment. They don't do payment arrangements, so that's why we gave you 60 days to find out what that number is and to be able to pay that amount.
so just a question, where do I go find out that number? I called that number before. That's why I had to go down the basement.
I understand that you have to give them time to adjust the account.
Okay,
So a lot of times you might have to actually make the appointment for them to then adjust the account.
But wait for your tax review board decision letter. And Mr. Edens, can she call you to get this straightened out and make sure the numbers are adjusted?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you've testified that you already spoke before, Ms. Reed, so you know how to reach Mr. Edens?
I took a ticket down L&I and his work, the ladies up front go in the back and get him.
All right. So Ms. Andre, can you provide his email address before she leaves?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make sure you have contact information to get the actual dollar amounts that you do need to have to pay in order to bring your licenses into compliance.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. Mr. Logue, thank you. I believe that concludes our docket for today. Tax Review Board is adjourned. Everybody have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening, everyone.